Today we talk Muslim ban, boycotting Uber, boycotting Starbucks, Quebec shooting, Obama finally, Denzel, and Uncle Rush on today's Headlines with Headliners.
It's not the same without Kanisha.
Man.
It's not the same.
It's never the same without everybody.
It's not the same without Kanisha.
We haven't had this combo yet.
Us two?
Yeah.
It's never been the Nate Tehran show?
No.
It's been Nate Kanisha, Tehran Kanisha, but never Nate Tehran.
Yeah. Nate and Tony Rock.
Nate and Tony Rock, I heard you killed it.
That's good times. You gonna freestyle?
You want me to freestyle?
Come on. It's only two of us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Try it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'm Nate Jackson in my life, wildin' out. Kanisha Bus is my wife, styling out in a bathrobe, looking fly. Everybody knows Tehran's the Persian black guy. End up with the black eye. If you talk trash to me, nah.
It's a tragedy. I swear to God that I'm in A to the T-E. I'm in the building and I get it and we press on go. I'm in the thing trying to figure out where we gonna go. I'm in the motherfucker.
Did you just say motherfucker?
Cut it.
Did you
Cut
just
it.
MF?
Cut it. I
okay.
said I'm in this mother with the dude in the robe. That's what I said.
Wearing the robe. Here's the thing. This is why you're not allowed to freestyle on the show. See, this is why we lose freestyling privileges.
Well, I mean, usually
you keep it kosher.
99, but that was the first time I almost went there. Good thing is it's a 2-word combo cuss word. If it was like the B word, there wouldn't have been no catching it.
I actually don't think bitch is a cuss word anymore. I think bitch has become.
Oh, I was
you
talking
can see it
about
on
bastard.
TV. Bastard. I never felt like bastard was that bad a word ever.
I think bitch is a bad word. Like, it's pretty much as strong as you can go in the black community.
But you
can say the C word to a black person, we'd be like, oh, you think that matters?
I never liked the C word. I never liked the C word. Calling a guy a bitch might be a thing. I think calling a guy a bitch way worse than calling a girl. Or a fuckboy. That's actually pretty
now.
Bad. That's
You're cussing more than me.
I'm actually a PHUCK. I'm PH. It's not. I didn't create alliteration. What I'm saying is, when it comes to cursing, there's a specific laundry list of curse words, and we prioritize our curse words.
Okay.
Worst curse word, like when I was a kid, you could use
curse word.
Yes.
Bitch.
That's the worst.
Black community, bitch is gonna be the one.
I think I would. Wow, I think it's a tie between the B word, the F word, and the FB word.
But here's the thing. Bitch can be used in combination with other cuss words that turn it into a Super Saiyan cuss word. So you use ass as like the addition sign.
It's a gateway drug to more curse words. Bitch is the gateway of curse words.
You just add the plus sign. You use ass as a plus sign, so you get like bitch ass bastard or bitch ass fuck boy. Like you can get, you know what I'm saying?
So you're using combos now.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Shut your bitch ass up. Like it can get aggressive.
Okay. However, if someone called you a bitch, would you be more inclined to be like, "What you call me?"
I need more choices. A, what'd you call me? B,
punch him in the face.
C,
slap him in the face.
D,
which is different than punching someone in the face.
Yeah, one hand's over, one hand closed.
I'm just saying, it's just a thing. And D, just walking away peacefully.
Okay, now what's the question?
If someone called you a bitch.
Yeah.
A, B, C, or D?
Who's calling me a bitch?
A stranger.
Complete stranger?
Complete stranger.
Where are we?
You're at a club.
What time is it?
It is 2 a.m. club.
Am I saucy?
A little.
We're going C, bare minimum.
C, bare minimum. Okay, your sober frame of mind.
How strong was the B?
Sober frame of mind.
How strong
and
was
he's
the
wearing
B?
all red. Like he's wearing red.
How strong was the B on bitch though?
It was like.
Did he charge it up? Was he
was like,
hey,
bitch? No, he just said he was just like, hey, bitch.
Did Spit get on me? Like off the T and the C?
Did he? Well. Maybe he had no, because if Spit got on you, he had a list. I think
I'm at least gonna say something.
You're gonna say something.
Yeah, like man, what the?
But what if he's wearing? I mean, he's wearing hella red, and all his boys are wearing hella red too.
Then that's a nice outfit.
You're.
And I'm wearing this. We still gotta talk. I ain't no bitch.
You know why they're wearing red, though. You know why.
Yeah, you're implying that they are
gang
Deltas.
members, gang affiliated.
Oh, they're Bloods, members of the Suwu.
Possibly.
It is what it is. I don't bang, man, but you gonna respect my space.
So you're gonna stop. I'm gonna have to.
I guess I gotta take this ass up, and that's what you're suggesting. But what gang member is gonna be like? Oh, let's jump him. That ain't even gang mentality. Is no, let him go heads, and ain't nobody even just whoop me.
In that situation, you're going to a conversation.
Well,
There's never a time where you're just walking away.
No.
Okay. Bare
minimum. I'm saying something.
Because we can't, right?
Can't what?
As men, we just can't walk away from that.
No, because it's the worst cuss word.
What about FB? What if it was fuckboy?
I'd be like, hey, where are you from? And then I would walk off. It's nothing.
Okay, so you
just nothing for me.
I understand. What about the F word that would imply a negative connotation of homosexual? Faggot. I'm trying to say the word faggot.
No, I'd be like, what? Like
because when I was a kid, that was a word that was commonly used, but then because of the awareness,
I'm trying to tell you, like, based on my scale,
it no longer exists.
That does nothing for me.
I mean, I wish a lot of these words just didn't exist.
Maybe if I was dealing with like some sexuality questions of myself, I'd be like, oh, they know. But I'm just like, come on, fam. Like, call me a white boy.
Yeah.
But like, that's ridiculous.
I understand.
Yeah, so speaking of things that make you cuss, story number 1. Actually, you should probably like say where you been.
I was actually, story number 1 applies to me, so in a lot of ways.
I'll let you slide it in however you want to.
It applies to me in where I was, where I came back from. This is a thing.
All right, so the hashtag Muslim ban. I don't know why we put hashtag Muslim. The Muslim ban has been blowing up people's timelines as a nation, and Trump's executive order to ban entry. No, I see what you did there. I'm just reading it. To the United States from 7 countries has stirred anger amongst immigrants and citizens alike, as well as protests from various groups. The ban bars entry for citizens of Iran, Iraq, Syria, Sudan, Somalia, Libya, Yemen, which are all majority Muslim countries, for 90 days, and refugees for 120. Many took to the streets and airports in protest of the ban.
So I was recently in Abu Dhabi and Kuwait last week. That's why I couldn't be here. Got back Friday, and the ban was in place as I was flying back from Kuwait. The executive order got signed. First of all, I've never gotten into this country faster. I don't know why. Like, usually when I walk up, I'm like, oh man, my hat says Tehran. They usually ask me like just sideways question. I feel like they're trying to trap me. This time they were like, here you go, sir. Have a great day. Hope you had a wonderful trip.
Really?
Like, I don't know why. If they felt guilty. Like, they're like, you don't know what's been going on, do you, sir? Come on back. But here's the thing.
It's because you had the American passport?
I mean, American citizenship at that point was golden.
But you had your passport.
Of course I had my passport with me. But
the guy behind you who had a Somalian passport.
I don't know what happened to him.
Got it.
Here's my problem.
He's still there, by the way, but yeah.
Here's my problem with the Muslim ban. First of all, they have banned 7 countries, and they've banned people who are trying to get into this country. This directly affects and impacts my family as I'm Iranian and black. Sure. People are not as informed as they are portraying that they are. So there's 2 sides to this story. First of all, yes, these 7 countries have been banned for at least 90 days. Refugees are being vetted stopped completely for at least 120 days for a vetting process, as they put it. He's singled out these 7 countries, which, by the way, have not committed an attack on American soil in the last 30 years. That is a true statement. However, we are currently at war with 6 of the 7 countries, in a manner of speaking. We do not have diplomatic ties with any of the 7 countries. And when we say the word Muslim ban, we are also foregoing the fact that there are 40 nations that are majority Muslim. And
the hashtag is wrong off top.
Yeah, no one's banning Malaysians, no one's banning Indonesians, no one's banning Muslim Indians,
it should just be
Pakistanis.
The 7 country ban.
So
is what it should say.
Is it fair? No. And this is why it's not fair. The reason why it's not fair, and people need to remember this, is not because we are banning entry from these 7 countries for nationals. It's because there are people who are permanent residents and visa holders and green card holders of this country that are now banned from entering because of the ambiguous nature of the executive order. And they've been having a very difficult time trying to get back into this country. And that's what the problem is. That's the major problem. Number two, a lot of people on a lot of country members of this list are saying, why us? Like, I know a lot of Iranians who are looking around, they're like, why Iran? Iran's not like one of these countries. You need to stop saying why Iran and why not Saudi Arabia, and just say, why is there a list to begin with? America, for better or for worse, was founded on certain principles. And one of those principles, as much as most people forget, was the concept of immigration and seeking refuge. So right now, for example, all these Bible Belt Christians who are so upset at the immigrants and just like, Jesus. Well, guess what? Jesus wouldn't be able to get into this country right now.
Trump's mom wouldn't be able to get into the country.
Where's Trump's mom from?
She immigrated.
I mean, his wife would have a hard time. Maybe his mom, I don't know. But that's what I mean. It's just one of those things where we have to be careful because this is a slippery slope. That's what it is, slippery slope.
No,
however, we should have
it's too late.
Information.
There's no being careful. It's too late. It's already happened.
Of course, it's not too late. President Trump is not the king.
Ain't no I'm sorry for this.
He's not the king. This is an executive order, which can be vetoed, by the way, by members of the Congress. And people are protesting. Sure. How many people are calling their congressperson? How many people even know their congressperson?
Oh, there's a lot going on now.
Right?
There's a lot going on now. I feel like this is the most active people have been
100%.
in my lifetime, because so many people are in just flat out disagreements.
100%.
So,
the most active people have been. I will give them that.
The impeachment process has begun.
The impeachment process has not begun.
Yeah, through change.org, they are already starting
Signing a petition, but that's not how impeachment works. President Trump would have to break a constitutional law,
which
or
is
a federal law, which he has not done
yet. But if you combine several things he's done, you can almost definitively say he is against the Constitution in the sense of letting this be a place where people can come from refuge.
Well, and that's what I mean. For example, this current executive order is simply a revision of an order that President Obama drafted originally. It's a revision of HR 158, which was also during President Obama's time. President Obama,
that was the Iraqi.
It's not just
freeze.
Iraq. It was also Iran, and it was also most of the countries on that list.
Right.
So that HR 158, plus it's also another. The original draft is from President Bush. So this is like a continuation. 3 weeks ago when they banned Cubans, no one was in an uproar because Cuba is a small area.
Cubans are banned?
Cubans were banned. There was after 22
we just
years.
opened that hoe up.
No, we're allowed to go to Cuba, get a visa.
Right.
But Cubans without visas were allowed in this country if they got here. And they were allowed to ask for refuge. If you remember the Elian Gonzalez situation. That was lifted during President Obama. 2 years before that was the Iraqi ban. And these are the people who need our refuge the most. Let's forget the people who are just coming here for vacation. Let's never mind them. There are people who are coming here seeking refuge from war-torn nations that need our assistance. And I completely understand that. But at the same time, do I feel like there's a possible threat for our safety as a country? I understand it. I just don't appreciate the fact that people who already have visas, permanent residents, green card holders, those people who have been vetted, who have gone through the process, who were unaware that this executive order was coming to play, who got possibly caught outside of the country, are now banned from coming back in. So there's a father that went home, that went back to his country of origin, who's in the process of becoming a citizen, went back to their country of origin to visit their family members, and now is unallowed to return to his proper home in the United States. That's a problem. So thankfully, there are judges out there, federal judges, who are remanding this executive order.
Well, just fired the interim attorney general.
Sally Yates got fired. What we need
for
not enforcing
being a traitor to what he said.
What did he say?
This is what he want to do. And she was like, no, we're not going to honor that. You guys don't have to honor that on the state level, basically is what she was trying to say.
Because And it's because the executive order was very ambiguous. Now, here's my problem. A lot of people are like just repeating what they heard instead of actually reading the executive order.
I haven't read it, but a friend of mine has, and we had a conversation. And he dropped some pearls on me. I can't assume he was 100% correct, but at least gave me some insight to know that it's a little more complicated than people are making it seem.
Exactly. It's a lot more complicated. And someone actually tried to mock me on my Facebook, was like, oh, where'd you read the executive order? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, are you friends with the CIA or something? No, but I have internet and whitehouse.gov.
It's right online.
You can just click on it. All of it is public information because that's what an executive order is.
Right.
It's like people don't realize, it's the same way people don't understand what impeachment is. Or they're like, well, we impeached so and so. No, we didn't. We haven't successfully impeached any president. Andrew Jackson and President Bill Clinton were both acquitted, and Richard Nixon resigned. Impeachment is a process, and that process takes time, and there has to be a specific reason. And President Trump isn't the only president who signed executive orders. President Obama signed something like 277. President Bush signed, and this isn't and people think because I say facts that I'm for or against something. I'm actually not specifically giving an opinion. I'm just stating facts. Facts and figures. Without data, basically, if you don't have a conversation without data, you're not having a conversation. You're stating opinion. And everyone's allowed to have an opinion.
What is your opinion?
But not everyone is qualified to have a conversation.
You have the right to give it or not give it, but what is it?
My personal opinion is that we need to inform the citizens of this country more, number one. Number two, that we need to not ban permanent residents, green card holders, people with visas. There are students that went home for the break and can't get back in. They've already been vetted under the process, so it shouldn't be retroactive. They should be allowed into the country.
Oh, they're definitely going retroactive. That's why they're giving it
problem.
3 months, 2 months, and 4 months, because they're saying we need to go retroactive so we can do extreme vetting. We're going to go through this with a finer tooth comb.
And of course, there are people who are always pointing fingers. Well, why not Saudi Arabia? Why not UAE? Why not Lebanon? Why not the countries that actually had terrorist involvement? Well, because those countries actually have diplomatic ties to the United States, and the 7 countries on that list, unfortunately, do not. And it's something we need to work on. Do I think this is 2 steps backwards? Yes, I do.
This is more than that.
But do I think that this is...
This literally puts gas on the flames. This ignites. This ignites
it. Does.
You know, this turns people who were previously not even concerned with it into very concerned citizens and
it's
non-citizens.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a lot of ways. There are people
just
who are
basically said the
inspired.
West has finally shut its door to the East.
It's inspiring people. You want to say this is about the terrorist threat? You are creating a terrorist threat.
Exactly.
You're inspiring people who may not have been on that level or even close to being extreme or maybe even borderline, but could have been educated into understanding.
There's people just shutting down airports, protesting right now.
Protesting.
Or Oregon citizens. So that's how you know it's nuts. Now you got the 7 countries. Now they have a common enemy now if they never had one before. They can all say, let's work together.
For a political gain. And personally, I think this has a lot to do with going to war with Iran. I also feel that America, the United States, is actively participating in a region of the world where it's high in resources. If you look at it, first it was Africa. Africa has a lot of resources. How is Africa, the continent of Africa, not the richest, full of the richest countries in the world? They have
everything,
a lot of resources, and yet you're full of the poorest countries in the world. So now the Middle East has a lot of resources. The United States is going inside the Middle East. It's causing a lot of havoc. I think this is going to cause a lot of conflict with Russia. I think this is going to cause more conflict with China. We've seen actions going towards that.
Yeah,
our relationship with China has been strained. We've seen activity in both those regions.
Go ahead and say it. 3.
It might be World War III.
There you go. That's what you're trying to say.
And it's very scary, and it's but at the same time, it's that dangerous game of politics.
I'll tell you what's really scary. Oh, I'll tell you where there's already a war. And story number 2. Story number 2, there's a war taking place between taxi cabs and Uber because Boycott Uber or Delete Uber has become a popular hashtag this week as calls to delete Uber came after the rideshare app did not participate in the New York taxi cab airport boycott. During the boycott, Uber tweeted the surge prices would not go up for trips to and from the airport, causing taxi drivers and celebrities to retaliate by asking their followers to delete Uber in lieu of other rideshare apps. I've seen a bunch of people screenshotting the, we're out of here on Uber. And now Uber, to that point, they have made, so when you try to leave Uber, you have to read a letter on your way out that says, we don't agree with the Muslim ban. We don't, you know what I mean? So there you go. There's an image that says Uber, and it stands for unfair now instead of Uber.
And it's interesting. First of all, the CEO of Uber joined Donald Trump's advisory board in December. People said something but didn't go really far. Then it comes to this taxi driver protest at JFK, where Uber did not increase its surge prices at that time and didn't participate in the taxi driver protest. So there was an influx of celebrities specifically, like Mark Ruffalo, who were like, we need to delete Uber. Uber is obviously for the Muslim ban. They're not doing anything like the taxi drivers were protesting, and it's full of immigrants. Let's be honest. If you get in an Uber car, and the driver's not an immigrant, you're a little worried. You're like, why is...
Nah, all the Uber drivers I get are like black guys, white guys, Mexican guys.
I mind.
If I get in a taxi, I might get a strong accent.
If I get in an Uber car and the guy's white, I might get out. I need a Gurgan or Margon, or I need a little bit of Armenian. I need an Armenian.
I think there's a lot of Armenians.
I need a lot of Armenian. I need an Armenian. I need a brown guy. I need a thank you for coming. I need something.
Something?
So these immigrants are, in a lot of ways, immigrants, including my father, is a backbone of this nation. And it's just an interesting conundrum we're in right now. It's very interesting because it is directly impacting people's lives.
Yeah, so what my friend was saying is that this is a miscommunication. Like, people are just misconstruing what Uber was trying to do. They're saying Uber didn't want to keep all the peak times and things because they didn't want to profit off of what was happening at JFK and what was happening in New York, like with all the people coming in and needing rides everywhere. They didn't want to say, well, because they're going through this, we're going to surge. So they just kept their prices regular. That's what they thought they were doing a good thing. And people are like, what you did was you made your prices so competitive that even in the middle of a taxi ban, everybody was Ubering because it was just, and everybody has surge prices in New York, whether it's Uber, Get, Lyft, Juno. There's surge prices. I think Get is like, literally, we don't have surge prices, but everything is just always expensive. So here's Uber going, we're just going to keep it $12 to go from LaGuardia to Brooklyn. It's ridiculous. So it seems business-wise, it seems like in the middle of a taxi cab boycott, that Uber dropped their price. That's what it would feel like if you were there and you always surge every day at 5, and then this one day it was never surging. It would feel like they made their prices more competitive to just stomp the taxis out. That's how it would feel and look. Because if Uber was in the business of not peaking their prices during events and things, then Super Bowl wouldn't already be 4, 5, and 8 times higher than normal because they're going to try to profit off that. You know what I'm saying?
I completely understand.
So I don't know. Did you delete it?
I never had Uber to begin with. I got to be real. I just never. I have a car, but I don't drink. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can pay for valet. Like,
it's really good for like getting to the airport and back.
You know what I do with the airport? I actually just park at the airport. That way, I'm at my own leisure and I have my own car as soon as I get out.
Where do you park at?
I park at Fox.
What's that cost?
It costs probably something like $10 a day.
Okay.
And I mean, for me, that's reasonable. So
No, that is
I have
reasonable.
my own
That is
transportation.
reasonable, but I just never heard $10 a day. It's always like $28 a day.
No, I get it. If you go on like the laxparking.org or something, it's a price and it's about $10. Sometimes it's $8 or $6 a day.
Yeah.
It's very convenient.
That's worth leaving the whip.
I was gone when I was in Abu Dhabi. It cost me $18.
For how many days?
I went Tuesday. I got back Friday. $18 total. So I just get on the little
you
shuttle.
went from a Tuesday to a Friday. So you were there just like on Wednesday?
I was there basically Thursday night I had a show Wednesday night, Thursday night. So that was the whole point. That was all. I was there for shows.
Got it.
I'm in and out. It's just like Dubai. Over the weekend, right back.
Yeah, you got to go and come.
So with Uber, they were damned if they did and damned if they didn't. No matter what they did would have been the wrong. If
No,
they'd
they
done the
should've
certain
just-
prices,
they
they would have
should've
been
just-
profiteering. They're protest profiteering.
They should have just left it alone.
So-
Did whatever they did the same time the week before. Furthermore, the CEO. I think this is what I think. I think if it's a conflict of interest for the president to be running his business at the same time as the presidency, I think that when these people are starting to join his cabinet and things like that, that it needs to be a requirement for them to stop doing that too, because they literally can push their own personal interests and do very well. Here's something that happened that's not going to be in this story, but they gave the guy Steve Bannon from Breitbart NSA clearance, normally the level of like a general.
It's crazy.
Very recently, the other night,
They made it happen.
the attorney general got fired at 3 a.m.
At 3, like it was nothing.
and they came out. It's a lot.
A lot's going on.
Of
This is a slippery
wildness.
slope. This is unprecedented as far as the nation goes for the temperament of how things are going. Nothing, here's the interesting thing. Nothing President Trump is doing is actually that much out of the ordinary. It's the way he's wording it and doing it. Most presidents have a political charm to doing things, including President Obama. It's not like Guantanamo Bay is closed right now. However, President Trump has no charm when it comes to the public. He has no charm when it comes to explaining. Huge, it's done. Like, there's a charm. There's a way you do still need public persuasion to be behind you. And yet, it's almost as if they don't care. And that's a big problem because this is how it starts.
And then they lie. It'd be one thing if you were upfront and forward about what you're doing, and then the results reported were upfront and forward. You have low inauguration numbers. You come out and claim you had 1.5 million. You say you only detained and held 150 people were inconvenienced. In reality, thousands of people were
just
inconvenienced.
held. And it's because I even went to LAX
That's
and
not
helped
even just
translate.
who's held. That's people who were in the airport. That's the families. That's the protesters.
Also, people who were not allowed on the flight in the country of origins. There are countries of origins like Abu Dhabi, Dubai, ports that get to the United States, and people weren't allowed on their flights because they were like, we're not sure if when you land, you'll be accepted.
And that was just a layover.
And it's
Amsterdam was backed up because people were like, you got to stay in Amsterdam. I'm not from Amsterdam, nor do I have the money to buy a ticket to go from Amsterdam back to home. I'm homeless in Amsterdam?
And that happened. It's like the movie The Arrival with Tom Hanks. That happens in real life.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. One theory that I constructed, and it's actually a very scary theory, is that maybe this is a way, politically, it's possible, to
get
test the
impeached.
waters. No, to test the waters. So what happens is you create this executive order, and it takes away from, for example, 4 bills that were presented in front of Congress. One was actually a bill to have a preemptive strike against Iran. No one's paying attention to right now. On top of that, you actually want this to happen, right? It's like if you start out in a negotiating price over a car, you tell them 10,000, but you really just want 7,000.
Right.
But you say something outrageous to see if
So
he'll
when
negotiate.
he relaxes on this, and it's
Exactly.
still garbage, everyone's going to be like, well, it's not a fool, man.
Exactly. So it's this, and it's testing the waters. It's like, let's see what I can do. Let's see how far I can push the limits of government without getting impeached, without getting the country to turn on me. Let's see how far I can go. Let's say I get rid of Sally Yates and do all this, but they don't see what else I'm really doing on the other side. Because there's a lot of other, it's not like President Trump is just sitting there thinking about the Muslim ban right now. No.
He said his tweet, he's moved on already.
Of course he has. He's gone through, there's been a lot more development since. So maybe this is just a way to push executive powers further than they've been pushed before. FDR did something very similar, but as we all see, hindsight is 2020, and in the rearview mirror, it obviously benefited the country and the system of welfare in a way, even though there were a lot of failures. This could be President Trump's way of pushing and testing executive powers to see how far he can go. In this country, there's a check and balances. Attorney General is supposed to be one of those checks and balances. You don't go with my check or balance, you get fired. That's a problem. That's a problem.
That's extremely bad. But he's able to get away with it because it's virtually an interim attorney general.
Exactly. And it's not like the interim attorney general becomes the attorney general. He would have a political charm. They would have had a ceremony.
Just wait.
Just waited a couple weeks, and then they would have found someone else. No political charm. And that's one of the biggest problems of the Trump presidency is the lack of public opinion support, especially in big cities, especially in liberal cities, traditionally liberal cities. It's not like people in Alabama and Mississippi are protesting right now. They are not. However, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Houston, Philadelphia, big cities, they're having a problem with this. You know who took advantage of this? Lyft. Lyft donated $1 million to the ACLU, which, by the way, raised $24 million, which is more than they usually raise in an entire year over this weekend. And now everyone uses Lyft. Lyft is the cool thing. Even homeboy who had the Uber Everywhere song is like, Lyft everywhere.
See?
But Wale made a really good point to me is like, you guys are going to delete Uber, but you're still going to buy Yeezys. And let's not forget that Kanye met with President Trump and agreed with his policies and try to get people on board with it as well. We're going to delete Uber, but still support Steve Harvey. I mean...
What you have to do is all or none. Otherwise, you just look silly. Unless you're mad at the specific person who runs Uber, you got to get this universal list that shows you, here's who we not messing with. We're not messing with the Ubers. We're not messing with Chick-fil-A. We're not messing with, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, the owners of Chick-fil-A came out in support of what Trump was doing right now.
Yeah, well, I guess we're going to have to get rid of those Muslims because that Chick-fil-A is delicious, bro. I'm so sorry. I saw a meme where somebody's
like, Chick-fil-A gets along with Donald Trump? That's crazy. So they bit the sandwich under the table. But I'm just saying, like, if that's the thing, like, if you can get a definitive thing, you know what I'm saying, like New Balance, you figure out who's representing what you don't want, what you don't like, then you can stop supporting. Like, people have to do their research. They support products and brands and make them money every day, not knowing these people literally hate me. And I'm still like, what was that, Calvin Klein that was like, can black people please stop wearing my clothes?
I thought it was
that Calvin? No, it was a Tommy Hilfiger.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah. Sorry, Calvin Klein.
Sorry, Calvin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Tommy
Ralph.
Hilfiger. Wasn't literally everybody was wearing Tommy Hilfiger. Like, I have, BT still has his stuff that he used to wear, like, and he collected it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And he's like, please, Coons, stop wearing, like, in a formal letter, like, my clothes is not designed for you.
He wrote an actual letter.
Leave it alone.
Please don't wear.
It's a legit letter. You can
it was a thing.
Yeah, that's just outrageous.
It's interesting times we live in. I don't know how it's
and then there's other companies that are supportive of where you're at, you know, and so that leads us to story number 3, where we have Starbucks gotten a little bit of hot water because just to counteract what's going on with the ban, the CEO, Howard Schultz, vowed that the coffee chain would hire 10,000 refugees in its stores. Cool. Well, that upset the right because they're like, well, why aren't you hiring 10,000 Americans?
Well, here's the problem with that. First of all, he said they vow to hire 10,000 refugees in the next 5 years. Also,
in stores.
Not every Starbucks is in the United States. He meant worldwide.
Right.
And people are upset about it. That's 2,000 refugees a year. It's not like there's 2,000 Americans that aren't getting sold. People are like, well, why didn't he hire 10,000 veterans? Why is he not? Everyone wants their cause and doesn't care about other people's cause. It's look, a threat
until the other person's cause.
Exactly.
They're being done so badly that you're like, okay, all right.
Exactly.
Okay, okay, guys. Black lives do matter. Sorry.
But they don't. But that's the thing. The protests right now. I say this to a lot of my Persian brethren. When you see those black faces in the crowd protesting as well, next time remember that when you didn't care about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Next time, right now, when you see the women marching, there was one sign my buddy Amir actually held and was like, we actually posted it where it was, I hope to see you nice white women at the next Black Lives Matter protest.
Now that you've been done wrong.
Now that you've been done. Because a lot of these white women, and there was another one where a nice lady was holding, don't forget, it was the white women who voted for Trump.
Right, I saw that.
Because something like 90% of black women voted, obviously, for the left. For the left. So it's not about right or left. It's about, I wish instead of Republican or Democrat, people were American. And it's not about the right solution or the left solution, but what is the correct solution for this country? And that's a problem. If politicians cared as much about the next generation as they do the next election, the world would be a better place.
Right. What they're doing is they've already lost these battles, and they're trying to retroactively go back and win the battles they already lost with this new president. So that's why we have so many things at once. It's like we already had that stripped. We already can do that.
We already won that.
Stripped, like
why are we taking away the progress we've made
exactly
socially?
Healthcare, that's a wrap. We have, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of different things going on at once, and we're talking about day 11.
I know. It feels like this nigga been president for 24 terms.
Bro,
yo.
Day 11? Like, if they pay bi-weekly, he hasn't had a check yet.
No.
This is ridiculous.
That's real.
Like, nigga, chill, fam. Like,
calm. Just slow your roll,
this
buddy.
only ends one way, bro. It's the same life as a drug dealer. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You're either going to jail or getting shot, fam.
President
Ease up.
Trump, you're doing too much.
Yeah,
but it's like
a person of color would know that. You're orange, dude. Tighten up.
One thing I do appreciate is that people are learning their political worth. For people are researching more than they ever have. People are getting involved more than they ever have. I bet you people are listening in government class in high school now because it's not like people didn't understand what an executive order was. People might not have known who their Congress people were. Do you know your Congress people?
Yeah, yes, I do. And I had seen an argument where somebody was saying
because you're aware, you're an aware person.
I'm telling you, people are waking up. But
People
I'm telling you,
are
there was a I lost it because you wanted me to be awake.
Well, I was just saying that it's the first time people are actually involved. I guarantee you, in 2020, everyone votes. You know. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. There's going to be phenomenal turnout numbers for the next vote. I don't see Trump getting 2 terms.
Does he make it through this term?
I think he's got another year and a half before he's not physically fit to lead the country.
He is older.
I don't know if it's going to be some type of self body breaking down type
and
thing.
And story number 4.
Nah, I just think this is getting out of hand, man. Like, there's enough people. Like, the left has not been radicalized. You know what I'm saying? Like, we may disagree, but the left has not been as radicalized as the right. The right is the one that's like, stock up on guns, it's the end of the world. The left has always just been like, everyone relax. Gays can get married. Like, it's not that serious. We've always been the it's not that serious side. But now, people on the left like, I'm finna get my pistol, fam. Like, they're getting out of hand.
Yeah, but those guys have a lot more practice shooting. Like, I've always thought about that because people are like, what if there's a race war? I'm like, then white people are going to win. They've been hunting a long time.
And a lot
like,
of
if you're holding your gun like this,
yeah,
you're not shooting
no, but
Billy
there's just
Bob.
like, there's a lot more guns. There's just because the NRA and the Republican Party are just, like, going to homecoming together.
I bet you gun sales are through the roof right now.
Oh, for sure.
Gun sales
for the
are
first time
through
ever, Democrats are trying to catch up.
Because I remember after 9/11, gun sales went up.
Man, gun ranges are just like super full of people.
There's a lot of money being made right now, and it's unfortunately the wrong kind of money. It's war profiteering, it's hate mongering money, but there's a lot of money being made right now.
Yeah,
I guarantee that.
People, I mean, but can you be wrong? There's a full-on attack. It's a lot going on, man.
There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
We've drawn a line between us and 7 countries
for
sure.
Did you not give me the mob?
I mean, I want you to spit your own bars, just because you.
The mob deep.
Speaking of rappers,
I spit today a little.
Story 5.
I don't get any props for my little.
Nah, it's trash. We're gonna skip forward to story number 5.
What was story number 4?
Hey, if you don't know it, I don't know it. From xenophobia and bigotry to some good old-fashioned racism, WikiHow apologized for its whitewashed image depiction of President Obama, Jay-Z, and Beyonce as people with white skin in a recent article titled "How to Become a Congressman." Here we see the actual picture of President Obama, Beyonce, and Jay-Z from left to right.
The God MC.
Okay, and then the website stated that it was disgusted and ashamed of the illustration. The depiction came to light when a Beyonce fan account circulated the image and original photo. So let's see the whitewashed one, I guess we could call it.
Exactly. It's It's a cartoon illustration that they used in the wiki on
It's
how to become.
two below the Starbucks image.
So what they did was
You couldn't even find it. Like, what am I looking for here?
Exactly. This is the image that they
blow
used.
that up.
And if you see, it's the same image.
It's identical. Same
It's
outfit,
the exact
same handshake,
image,
same hands.
except clearly the difference is that the skin tone on all three people is a lot less colorful.
They're white, Tehran. I don't know why you talk like that. A lot less colorful. No, there's a lot of colors on there. But what's not on there is any chocolate no more.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. There you have been
So let's go back to the original picture one more time.
So if you go to the original picture, you see...
That way everybody who's watching this live on YouTube and all that isn't trying to like click back and go, just keep up with us. Here it is again.
Original picture.
You could go back and forth a couple more times.
President Obama, Beyonce, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And now WikiHow picture, which they, boom. And they apologized, but someone did this on purpose. Someone did it on purpose. They knew what they were doing. And on top of that, it was how to be a congressman. And it would have been less offensive if at least one person was black and it was like a coincidence.
What would be crazy is if the three of them looked at this picture of white people and was like, we're going to stand like white people. If it was just backwards, they'd be like, wow. Let's stand like this. Which was going to be Obama? I'll do it. I'll put my hand up in front of Beyonce's hair.
So that's just the thing. It's interesting, and it's this kind of subtle racism that influences.
I don't understand why.
Generations of people. It's subtle racism.
It was in an article called
WikiHow. WikiHow is basically a website where you put in how to, for example, become a TV star. How to change your tire. And it gives you the instructions, and it's a nice directional.
But I don't understand that picture's
significance. Why go out of your way to do this?
Why turn a picture of three black people white to say
subliminal racism? Because there is a racist agenda in this country that we must be aware of. And for the people who deny it,
there you go. For
the people who deny it, they are not either opening their eyes or they don't want to know, or more importantly, they are liars too.
They don't have to now.
There is a racial agenda in this country and in most of the world, and we need to be aware of it. We need, as human beings, forget people of color, forget black people. As human beings, we need to be aware of it.
Cook it up.
It's real. This is a real thing. This really happened. And this isn't the first. This isn't the first. This is just another time in a series of other times.
Oh, this is the most recent that we were able to document on the internet.
It's the most.
There's plenty of times
humorous today.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of times where something happened and then the history of it was made white so that everyone would think that that's who did it.
What do you mean, like Gods of Egypt having one black guy?
Yeah.
Like everyone just assuming Jesus was white with blonde hair and blue eyes?
Maybe.
Because if that were true,
yeah, when
you read the Bible, there would have been, someone would have been like, yeah, he walked on water, but
his piercing eyes, you would see.
What was crazy was the fact that he had blue eyes and blonde hair, and we're in the Middle East, and we were like, whoa, aren't you Jewish too, bro?
Right.
That would have been Corinthians. You know?
That would have been in the beginning. There were a lot of browns and one white.
It's like he would have looked, it's just, there's a whitewashing. He would have looked Middle Eastern. President Obama is black. Wool. So it's like there's a lot of whitewashing that goes on.
And this picture just shows you exactly how it happens. They let it slide, and then it's how to become a congressman.
And it happens to Asians. There's a new anime movie that's coming out with Scarlett Johansson. And
is it?
The main character is supposed to be Asian, and now she's white. The Prince of Persia was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right. There's been a lot of. I mean,
even in Aladdin, all of a sudden Aladdin had the small nose, but Jabbar had the big nose and was a criminal.
I mean, but Aladdin was a little Indian boy. They just tried to be like, this is an attractive person, and then they added those other features. Completely changing the skin tone happens, and it's just, I think it's trash. Thank God for the Beyonce fan that was like, a minute.
I know this picture.
This is how President Obama's hand was near the Beyonce's hair.
It's a super fan. It's a Beyonce super fan who wanted to become a congressperson. And
is that how it happened?
I mean, like she was like, I love Beyonce. She should run for Congress.
Honestly,
how does Beyonce win Congress?
Honestly, how to become a congressperson and who's your congressman are all very searched topics right now. So it's not that far-fetched for somebody who's a Beyonce fan to also want to be like, man, I'm going to change the world.
I think you're originally from Washington?
Yeah, Seattle area.
I think it's phenomenal that California has 2 female congresswomen, senators. I think Washington State also has 2 senators.
Oh, I know Patty Murray. Who's the other one?
Murray and Conway, something like that. Conway, because in California it's Feinstein and Harris.
Yeah. And Patty Murray's been on fire too. She was on top of DeVos ass in that education. In the education.
Because you brought up the
debriefing. That Murray was tearing her ass. She was smithereens.
And it's because you brought up the fact that the fan was a female who was trying, like, searchable topics.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
There was a female fan, right? Didn't it say that?
It was a female fan.
Yeah. Cool. It doesn't say that, so I just assumed.
But it was a female fan.
Sorry, ladies.
No, it was a female fan.
Yeah. I said, well, if it said a Jay-Z fan, I'd be like, oh, it was a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy.
For some reason.
Suzanne Delbenny is the only one that I've recognized.
No, senators. Not congressmen. Senators. Just Washington State senators.
Yeah. Krista's in the building.
So it's got to be Murray. Patty Murray? Is that her name?
Yeah. We have an in-house Googler.
What is it?
Maria Cantwell.
Yeah. I was like Conway. I knew it was something, but I just thought it was great to see.
It's a bad name, you know. Yeah. Do well, be well, can't well. Like, wait a minute, woo. Why can't you? All right, so listen, we got good black people news too. All right, that is finally for some good news. Story number 6, at least for Denzel Washington. Right. Just talking about Washington, let's just bring it full circle. Denzel won his first SAG award for his role as Troy Maxson in the movie Fences, a remake of August Wilson's award-winning play. The win could be a tell of things to come, as the winner of the SAG Best Actor has gone on to win the Oscar in the same category for the past 10 years.
Traditionally, the SAG winner wins the Oscar, and a lot of people think this was an upset because pre-SAG, it was Casey Affleck. Casey Affleck was killing it.
What movie?
I forget the name of the movie. I remember the name of the movie. It's on the tip of the tongue.
What's the Casey Affleck movie?
Can we look up the Casey Affleck movie that's out right now?
What's the Casey Affleck movie?
It's something like with the. And I know this sounds silly. It's a longer title. I forget. It's like Spiritual of the Stairway or something.
Goes home to raise a kid.
Exactly. What's the name of this movie? Casey Affleck. Anyway, Affleck also got.
What's the Casey Affleck movie?
He also got in trouble for allegedly sexually harassing.
What's the Casey Affleck movie?
I think it's.
I'm gonna Google it too.
We're Google.
Manchester by the Sea.
Manchester by the Sea. I was like Spirits by the Stairway. I knew it was something like a title, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I meant.
So they thought that Manchester by the Sea
should beat Fences.
Is going to beat Fences?
But Fences.
And then the guy is really a Chester the molester and he got in trouble for it?
Allegedly sexually harassing women.
Nothing to do with kids.
Nothing to do with
grown
kids.
women.
Grown women.
Allegedly.
Even though I did find out today that the principal from Ferris Bueller.
Okay.
You know
he looked like
he was in a bunch of Howard the Duck and a bunch. He got caught with child porn and paying some 14-year-old to do a bunch of child porn stuff and is on the sexual registry. I just found that out today and I was like, not him.
How long has he been there?
But then I looked at him and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, like the guy with the wiry mustache.
Yeah, that guy.
Come on.
That guy. Yeah, he.
I read a study. I'm not sure where it was. I think it was in a Malcolm Gladwell book. But people look like what they do. So yeah, there's a certain amount of you shouldn't judge a book by the cover, but like there's a certain amount of if somebody does certain things, they start to look a certain way, literally in their facial structure, bone structure, where their muscles are. Like if I go into a grocery store and I'm trying to cash a check and they could say yes or no, I'm going to pick who I go to very wisely. The person with the most forehead lines, I'm not going to because they have been frowning enough to leave lines. I'm going to the happy guy. Like, hey, man, how you doing, man? You bust. Hey, trying to just cash this check so I can go buy some flowers for somebody. Oh, man, my mom loves flowers. Yeah, here, I'll cash it out, no problem. Jane, I'm on till 6 cashing a check. You know you're not supposed to cash that. So I didn't go to you, bitch. That's why. You bitch-ass fuck boy.
Why did you have to curse out Jane?
You got to keep it real.
So, did you watch Fences yet?
No.
Okay.
But I had the choice to watch Fences or the Taraji P. Hidden Figures, and I chose Hidden Figures only because. I heard
that last week.
Yeah, because I just didn't want to be.
I thought you might have updated.
Since then, nah. I have yet to go to the movies. I need to go see Fences. Now you can get the John Wick, Triple X. I got things I want to see.
You can get the. What's it called when
they give you a little piece of fence?
No, when they give you
when you go in.
You know when SAG-AFTRA sends you the
the viewers.
The viewers.
Yeah.
And the viewer of Fences is out, and you know that makes its way around.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe you just caught it on.
No. That kind of sucks that it's out because this should still be in theaters.
It still is in
As soon
theaters.
as a viewer hits the streets,
it's bootleg.
Fire stick.
It's bootleg. It's
Right.
bootleg.
Oh, Amazon is also a company. People are like, yo, don't deal with Amazon anymore. I saw a post. It was like, yo, Amazon's backing Trump right now. Yes, that means you're Fire Stick too. So
are you gonna just don't dump one thing and not the other, like you said?
People are like, I gotta get that Fire Stick on the one time for the one time though. I ain't paying the recurring fees on it.
I hope Taraji wins.
Yeah, she should landslide right now. It's just between her and as far as the best actress is doing it right now, because Meryl doesn't have an active project. But Taraji and then the lady that was in Fences, Anna, what's her name?
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. She plays Anna something on How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, they're stellar.
They are. They're amazing. They're amazing actresses.
The nose running though, I'm like Viola. Whew.
She killed it, huh?
Cut.
She knows. What
Wipe her nose.
She knows what she's doing. That's
What did
real.
she have, a gallon of milk before that scene?
Hilarious.
Some
That's real.
Mucinex?
Real.
I don't understand why there was so much not. It looked like two little Spider-Mans were in her nose, like web sling. Like it's ridiculous.
It's real.
Is it real?
I don't know. I think Vin Denzel should have won an Academy Award based on the trailer of Fences. Like that trailer alone.
Right.
I was like,
It's good work. Really, really good work. So here's some more black people news. Last but not least, story number 7, Russell Simmons, better known as Uncle Russ, also All Def Digital, if you're not familiar with who's running all that, has sold his company Rush Card to Green Dot, another card company, for the sum of $147 million. The prepaid debit card, which began in 2003, currently has a user base of approximately 750,000 and was one of the first prepaid cards to focus on minorities.
well, they had that situation, I believe, in 2015 where people couldn't use their debit cards for like weeks. Couldn't use it.
Yeah, Rush.
Because of problems. Uncle Rush came out of pocket and paid for people's expenses on a lot of that stuff.
Did he?
He did.
Good.
Uncle Rush he's always been a great guy to me.
Is 147 a good price?
$147 million actually sounded kind of low to me personally.
That's how I feel. Like,
I felt
anytime a credit card, debit card company
147
exchanges hands, it's you're a B.
But then I realized also it's also a credit card for the unbanked, meaning it's not high earning credit card. The information is worth more.
Fees.
The information, well, that's the whole concept of the Rush card is low fees. The information is worth more than
What information? Like how you're training yourself to use it type thing?
750,000 users give information.
Yeah.
That information is worth more than the credit
Yeah,
itself.
because then they can go right to
you
them like, hey, you enjoy your Rush card, check out these 2 green dots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the concept is, I started doing the math, and I was saying, well, 750,000 people putting their own money in there. Let's say they all get fees of $3,
Right.
$5. That's really not that much money. You're talking $147 million. You are talking about a little, like 10 to 15 years for that to. It's that information they.
How
want.
much money is that?
750,000
Yeah.
with.
You said $5 from each person?
Is it? Are we going with $5 a person?
Just asking. I mean, that's 3.7 million.
Is it? Are we going with $5?
I thought that, yeah, you said. So
So
if they had a
$3.7
$5
million,
Green Dot owns us now
That's
fee.
3.7 million, 75 million
Yeah.
for a year,
Yeah.
for example.
1
right?
year.
So
For $5. And
For
that and
$5.
there's no card with just that. Like they have just to use it, the $5 monthly fee type thing. So you're looking at 3.75 times 12. They already making $45 million. They got almost more than half their money back in
but
1
something
year.
tells me Uncle Rush is a pretty good business person.
No, not something. There's a whole lot, but 147 sounds low to me.
It sounded low to me as well.
To where Russell might just be like, okay, we're closing the credit branch of all of this. I tried. You know what I mean?
But he didn't
I
lose.
went out of pocket. No, well, we don't know. We don't know if he won or lost more than $147 million. But how? How would we know that?
Because their profit statement said otherwise.
Okay, he came out of pocket to pay people with personal money.
He did pay out of personal money for certain people.
That's
because
a burden.
It wasn't covered. It wasn't covered.
Right, but there's 750,000 users. Like, how much did he spend out of pocket to just the worst ones?
Honestly,
the
it
nail
could
that
have been
sticks out
like
the farthest.
It could have been 12 people,
could've
and
been
they used it for
6.
PR. I don't know.
Right.
We don't know. It could have been like 12 people got $50 from the guy.
Could.
It could have been. I don't know. I just know that, in my personal opinion,
Right.
Uncle Rush is a very good business person. And I think that he knows what he's doing. 147 million, which also sounded very low to me. But then again, I don't have anything that costs 147. So I don't know.
Right.
I'm hoping that it was a good move. It
I don't
seems
feel
like
like
a
I
good
have
move.
to have personal experience of selling something for $147 million or somewhere in that realm to even comment on this. I could just be like, I should just mind my business because I ain't got I don't have 140. I don't have $14,700. Like, you know what I'm saying? But no, that ain't the case. I'm just saying, when I see things about financial institutions being bought and switched and trading ownership and stuff like that, it's usually higher money than 147. That's all I'm saying.
When this is creating fees, and then something like Snapchat is free, and they're about to IPO and be worth $4.5 billion or $8 billion.
When are they IPOing?
Very soon.
So we should hurry up and do that.
We should possibly. You never know.
I wonder where they'll start at.
I think they're going to have
120 a
possibly
share?
the highest IPO of all time. Possibly. Top 5.
More than why?
Top five.
I don't know.
Because of certain factors of Snapchat. The government owns a bunch of Snapchat. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
The
What does
facial
the government
recognition.
own? Oh, I bet, yeah.
Well, the government invests in a lot of these technology
yeah.
companies because they gain information. Facebook is one of the companies that the government invests a lot in. Google, Snapchat. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's an interesting situation. I do agree with you when you say it's 147 seemed very low.
That seems low to me.
It felt low to me. But then again, I'm only going based on
$147 million for 750,000 people's pertinent information.
I'm just going on the fact that Russell Simmons has traditionally been a pretty decent business person. I mean, I'm not
Russell
wearing
doesn't
Fat
mess
Farm
around.
right now, but
Russell doesn't mess around.
He
Great
doesn't mess
dude.
around. He knows what he's doing, and he's a good guy, and he's a vegan. I don't know. I just feel like
Great guy. So
Things are
listen,
gonna be
we're gonna wrap.
we are. We missed Kanisha.
Yeah, Kanisha's not here.
Her energy. We missed her energy.
You said, and we missed her input because that's a whole nother voice. You said the week you weren't here last week, she didn't mention you.
She did not give me a shout
So
out.
I want to give you an opportunity
You gave me a shout out.
to hella shout her out.
I've been the
camera's
Kanisha
right
Bus.
there, so when
Make
she
sure you
watches
find
it-
her. Kanisha is comedy. Kanisha Bus all the way. Seattle. Make sure to check out her special. She did a special with Miss Stephanie Shanika Jenkins or whatever.
Monique Renee.
Close enough.
Hilarious.
The point is,
Outbound Comedy Special. Catch me on Sirius Satellite
and
Radio
Sirius
and
XM,
ADD.
exactly, and Kanisha Bus forever. Kanisha for life.
And where do they catch you at?
Don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Kanisha didn't care. But you can find me at I Am Tehran all across the board, social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Thank you.
Nice. Mine's at Mr. Nate Jackson. That's all my social media handles, or check me out, NateJacksonComedy.com. I'm on the road a lot right now, so check my schedule, see if I'm coming to a city near you. You deserve to laugh this hard.
Where are you going next?
Seattle and Colorado.
You're going to Colorado.
Just got back from Alaska.
Alaska. How was that?
It was cold.
See you
Just
guys
locked
next
in
week.
London and Japan. So I'm telling you,
You're
I'm coming.
killing it.
I'm coming.
Hey, make sure to check for us. Headlines with Headliners. Please comment down below. We'll see you guys next week. Did you just do the...
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.